think we'll get started. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us to today's webinar. For those that don't know me, most of you do, I'm Alicia Fisher from the Asia Pacific Simulation Alliance. Over the past 2 years, Teresa and I have been working on a suite of courses, and we're delighted that we have finally been able to work with a university to formalise this, and that university being the University of New South Wales. It's formalised by having a master's and a grad cert available, and it's available for the simulation sector, which we haven't had across Australia before. I've got Teresa and Simon who have joined us from the university, and I'll pass over to Teresa now to explain the program for you.
Well, welcome everyone, and I'm really delighted to be able to go through this presentation to introduce the program to you today. And we have a slide presentation, but for the benefit of anyone who's dialed in, we'll talk you through the slide presentation. I'll also invite our Associate Dean of Education, Simon McIntyre, to jump in at any moment, and he's been pivotal in helping shape this program within the university context. So Simon, please drop in and add where if I have any gaps in what I present, okay?
No problem. I'm happy to answer questions at the end as well.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is going to go through briefly the following: why we've set up this program, the education and training options, and then the career outcomes that might come from it. Sorry, I've just got this note saying my internet isn't stable, wouldn't you know it, NBN. So why this program? Now, I'm aware, having skimmed through some of the participants on this video conference, that many of you have a background in simulation and indeed very specific skills in particular areas. We have put this program in the Faculty of Art and Design, and this is a very unique concept in the education landscape, because you can learn about simulation as an engineer, you can learn about simulation and immersive design as a computer scientist. But in our, now I think it's about over 2 years consultation with the industry, and in particular with the defence industry, we realised that there was a gap for a much broader program that was more human-centric and design-led. It enabled people to delve into the broader questions such as what is immersion, how do you make sense in these immersive environments, how do you construct narrative in these environments, how do you solve problems with simulation and immersive design. So we wanted to address this through a design-led program, but at the same time offer students the ability to come in with their own specialisation or deepen their specialisation through a range of electives, which are also encompassed as in the broad masters and in the short courses, so that if they wanted to delve in more deeply, say into data visualisation or some aspect of robotics or some aspect of learning and training methodology, that could happen through our various electives. So the unique thing of why is the fact that we're making this program human-centric and design-led. And what are the components of the program? As you can see, this broad spectrum that's just come up from the human-centric design, from the program contains thematics such as human dimensions in the immersive environments, the human-machine interaction, designing and experiencing immersion, simulation design, narrative and sense-making. It delves into the emerging technologies and capabilities of AR, VR, MR. It looks at how you train with simulation. It looks at how you construct models and convergence. It deals with the interface with AI and robotics, looks at management, complexity, and the system solutions. So this kind of broad cross-domain array of thematics is what we wanted to attempt to offer back to students, because there is nothing that kind of holds these thematics together in the current simulation training. And it's also future oriented in the sense that these technologies and all of those thematics are rapidly changing, rapidly evolving. And part of the program has this kind of view to the future. At the end of each of the individual courses, there is a session that looks at what's on the horizon. How are these technologies changing? Above all, the program intends to offer students the critical capability to understand how they can embrace that change and the shifts in the technology. So it doesn't matter if when they start the program there is a new technology that emerges at the end, which is highly likely because things are changing rapidly. In 18 months, even with a Unity engine, for example, we were speaking to some of the Unity representatives saying that a program that is launched in January is already superseded in August. So our base is not to focus on the technology, it's to focus on what the technology does, its capability, and then how that can be reabsorbed and reinterpreted with anything new that is on the horizon. The other benefit of the program being based at Art and Design is that there is a suite of world-class facilities on campus, from an expanded perception and interaction research centre to a nice cinema cave environment, to the National Facility for Robot and Interaction Research, to the 3D Visualisation and Aesthetic Lab. All of these research centres are doing deep research in the immersive space, and they can offer capability to students. Students will have the possibility to see what's happening in these spaces, to interact with researchers, and will see through a capstone eventually maybe to build their own research interests if that is where they want to go. So the suite, and here, Simon, feel free to come in on this. It's a really agile and unique kind of, I won't say it's do-it-yourself kind of course, but it does allow you as a professional with a specific knowledge to come in, top up, formalise education, or go right through and get the master's depending on your interest and your needs. So it starts off with the APSA short courses, and I'm just wondering, Alicia, whether you might name some of the courses that are coming up soon.
I was just going to say you've got a slide coming up, but we do one starting in September.
Cool, and we'll go through that. So they can be short. I mean, there is more explanation on each of these levels as we go through, but just so you can see how you can progress from just doing micro-credential. I need to top up on something. I need to top up on a particular skill. I'll do the intensive face-to-face. I've done a couple of intensive face-to-face. I might be able to get recognised prior learning on them and add some units of credit through the formal master's program to get a graduate certificate. Or I might just want to do 2 electives and build 2 of the core master's program. And my screen has just frozen.
There you go.
There we are. Okay. And then you can build from the grad cert to the master's, which will give you a complete suite of a foundational course that looks at the high-level questions surrounding the area right now, plus the ability to drill down and specialise and sort of go into some specific niches that are of your interest, or indeed to then expand if you want to deepen research and go into the area of research. So it's flexible.
Oh, actually,
there's a recognition.
Do you mind going back one slide? Do you mind going back one slide just for a second?
Sure.
Because I think it's important to point out that these are, if you can fill the screen again, that would be good. These are separate products, so they can intersect with each other, but you don't have to do all of them. It depends on where you are. So you might only ever be interested in short courses for that right here, right now knowledge top up, as Teresa said. And it might be a couple of years in the future that you may think about going into a master's or a graduate certificate. And if that's the case, all of these short courses that are developed in conjunction with the Asia Pacific Simulation Alliance, we automatically recognize as credit into the master's degree or into the graduate certificate. Conversely, if you were interested in going straight into a grad cert or a master's, you can also undertake short courses at the same time and have them count towards your program. So we really try to build in that flexibility. And in this way, it allows us to always be on top of emerging trends, on new developments in technology, so that the master's is actually directly connected to developments in industry all the time. And I think that's one of the benefits that allows it to be personalized for your specific applications. And the research band, which Teresa mentioned as well, this is where you might want to extend your learning into a particular problem in your industry and work with our leading researchers and facilities here. So it's another option that can extend, but I just wanted to point out that you don't have to do the whole suite. It really depends on your own starting point and your own needs.
And with that, could I add also that it's industry driven? So the short courses are very much a response to industry need, gaps in industry knowledge or the furthering of industry knowledge. And the agility of the program has also been developed to keep up to date with what the new issues are in the industry. So it's flexible. As Simon said, you can take it over time, you can do it intensively, you can get recognition of prior learning, and I know that many online today have a specific knowledge in the area of simulation, so please talk to us about that and what that means. You can also get recognition of prior learning if you have attended and completed some of the short courses, and we'll talk about that later. The program is flexible in that it is dominantly online, so it allows for busy work people. It's a bit like an MBA in a sense. It's there for professionals. And then it has some intensive face-to-face delivery that happens across 3 weekends.
Yeah.
There are 4.
Sorry, I was just going to say another thing to point out is that we have an alternate entry pathway into the graduate certificate as well. So for those practitioners who may not have a bachelor's degree, we do also look at your professional experience as a pathway into the graduate certificate. And then if you maintain a credit average, you can articulate all the way through to the master's as well. So recognizing that industry experience as a pathway in is also something we've taken care to build into this.
So there you are. We have a suite of short courses that are imminent, and they include, and I'll mention them for those that can't see the slide presentation, Designing a Simulation-Enabled Learning Environment, and that's on the 23rd and 24th of September. Data Engineering and Architecture in Live, Virtual and Constructive Environments in October. Simulation Practices for Immersive Environments, November. And in 2020, Open Architectures and LVC Integration, Modelling and Analysis of Non-Kinetic Effects in LVC Exercises, and Building a Case for Immersive Technology, all early in 2020. And these short courses are really focused on specific needs and gaps that we have been that we have identified specifically in the defence sector.
And another thing to note is that those are the initial dates for those short courses, but we are working with APSA to plan more sessions for those particular courses. So please do get in touch if you're interested in some of those, but the times don't align, because we can talk about how we can accommodate that too.
So then we move on to building a grad cert for those that want to move to a grad cert. And the idea there is that you may have completed some short courses and get recognised prior learning through those specific skill development. You're required as part of the grad cert to complete 2 of what we call the foundational core courses of the master's program, and they are designing and experiencing immersion, human dimensions in immersive environments, narrative and sense-making in immersive environments, models, systems and solution design, immersive design, complexity and wicked problems. Now, the unique feature of these core foundation courses of the master's program is that they take a high-level overview of the broad thematics that impact simulation and immersive design, but and not really dealt with in other courses. They are about perception, user experience, the human-centered design processes. How do you design for user experience in immersive environments? What are the human dimensions in those immersive environments? How do you process information and the narrative and the sense-making? How and when do you use models, and what is the reasoning behind the models and the ways models can be used for solution design, and how simulation and immersive design and models can be used for wicked problem solving and complexity. If you then move through to the, again, through the grad cert and the masters, you also have the option of taking some elective courses. This is will be an expanding suite because we are able to draw on other faculties within the university, and they can include ideas and skills development in programming, immersive systems thinking, future immersive learning, methodologies, emergent technologies, managing immersive projects, statistical modelling and visualisation, virtual, augmented and mixed realities, robotics, human and future machines, creativity and data science, leadership and emerging markets. So there's a real suite that is being developed, and also the possibility to access some of the courses that are in other faculties, be it eventually medicine, business, and engineering. The final component of the Masters, for those that want to go through with the Masters, allows you to synthesize the key concepts from the core courses and your own specialist learnings into a portfolio, and to undertake an industry placement with leaders in the field, or a collaborative cross-disciplinary project working with other faculties, or a personal work-related project. And this is where really your own individual interest comes to the fore. The idea for the Masters is that we can track your personal interest. You could be through the electives deepening those thematics and skills, and then apply them in a capstone project that can really, for example, if there's a particular area that you're looking at in defence and you want to do your capstone project on that, you have the possibility to do a personal work-related project. If through the program you have a specific skill in simulation, but you come to the program because you want to broaden, you say, I've got this skill, I've matured this skill, I've used it in defence, let's say, but now I want to see where else I could take it. Perhaps looking to the future employment, or looking beyond the defence industry. You may take that skill to built environment. You may take that skill to health and see how it can be applied. Or you might want to have a specific industry placement in industry somewhere. So the idea of the program is to provide you with the knowledge and the skills to take up a range of high-value positions, whether you're a leader, a manager, an artist, a researcher, a planner, an entrepreneur, even in a range of industries, ranging from art and design to gaming, robotics, cultural heritage, advertising, education, engineering, expanding different areas of defence and emergency management, medicine, advanced manufacturing, business, finance and sustainability. Now that may sound like a really broad sweep, but what we realise is that immersive design and simulation now is being used by the professionals in all of those fields. So the program enables you as an individual to come in and broaden your understanding if you already have some specialist knowledge, or it may allow you, if you're a manager who has a team that needs specific skills, to identify what those skills are and to kind of tailor the program between the short courses, the grad cert and the full masters, to tailor it so that your team can get upskilled.
And another point, I think, just mentioning the portfolio again, all the way through those core courses, it's really a program about you and what you do. So the portfolio is designed to help you reflect on how these technologies are changing practice, how it actually is challenging your area of practice, and it helps you futurecast about what might be coming in your own industry, so that you can look at all of these transdisciplinary examples that are woven through the program and draw on best practice from across that cross section. But we very much have a focus on helping you contextualize that for what you currently do and where you want to go. So while it looks like there's a lot of coverage, it really is drawing out the common principles that underpin future practice in all of those areas and applying it to your trajectory. Thanks.
So we've got on the screen now, we've got some references and links to short courses, graduate certificate and masters. The important thing is that if you are interested, or you have people in your teams that are interested, that you contact us now. It takes time to work through the process. We can talk to you, we can even come out to you and look at your needs and tailor the program.
And we can send this presentation, I think, afterwards as well, so you've got all those links.
Absolutely. Now, I apologise, we've been talking at you for quite a while, but we did want to get that information across. So now we're really, really happy to hear from you, to hear about your needs, to get your feedback and any questions that you may have. And we will, as Simon mentioned, be sending out the presentation and more information. So really, it's over to you to hear if there are any questions or things that we've missed out on. And I know that, many online have got specific skills and needs and are highly specialised and advanced knowledge in some of the areas we're talking about. Over to you, Alicia, if you want to open up for questions.
Yeah, has anyone got any questions? I do note you are all on mute, so if you actually do want to ask a question, we need you to unmute, which is in the bottom left corner of your screen.
I can answer the first question from Sam. Are there any core courses that are required, or can we make it all up of electives? So the answer to that is the graduate certificate is composed of 2 core courses and 2 electives. So to maintain the structure and to make sure that students doing the graduate certificate do reach a certain number of learning outcomes, those core courses are essential. But the elective space is where you can really start to customize. And you could also swap the electives out for a combination of short courses as well, to make it a little bit more tuned to where you want to go. So yes, it's a 50-50 split between core and elective.
Very quiet. I just wanted to expand on, you mentioned, Teresa and Simon, the short courses, just for those that are wanting to know how many units of credit. So Simon, I don't know if you want to expand on how many units of credit are for which courses, for 2 days and 4 days?
Yep. So to be honest, I'm going to have to look that up in a second. But the short courses are built on blocks of 3 units of credit. So the shorter more intensive ones of a couple of days are usually 3 units of credit, and a university elective is 6 units of credit. So if you do a couple of those intensive 2 or 3 day short courses, it equates to 1 elective in the program. So you can sort of mix and match and get more experiences per 6 units of credit in the masters that way. And there are also some larger, more in-depth short courses that are being developed that are actually a straight 6 unit of credit swap for an elective. So it depends on the intensity and depth of those short courses. And I believe the first one in September is a 3.
Yeah, so the first one in September is 3 units, because that's a 2-day course, and just the October one, which is 4 days, which is a more technical course, that one is a full 6 units of credit. And then the November goes down to 2 days again, so that's again a 3 unit of credit. And as Simon mentioned, you can do 2 3 units of credits and put them together to have an elective.
Yeah. So the idea there as well, we wanted to make sure we had short courses which were small enough to really target down on specific needs. But the increased flexibility, as I mentioned before, means that you can end up having a much broader range of experiences that are targeted to your direct needs than you would be able to have with the number of electives that are available. So 2 electives in the grad cert versus up to 4 short courses that you can combine.
And if I can say, I think one of the exciting elements of this program, which is quite, as I said, quite unique in the landscape, is that areas are changing almost day by day. There's new uses, there's new technologies, and the fact that the program, if you go into the masters, can actually, through the grad cert and masters, can actually give you exposure to different uses in different industries. I think that adds so much to the understanding and the development that you can then either move into that industry or bring it back into your industry, because right now no one has all the answers around visualization or simulation. It's a field that shifts moment by moment, and the cross-industry fertilisation both helps deepen your own specialisation because you can bring that knowledge back in. And I think that placing the program in art and design has allowed us the ability to use design as the base, industrial design processes as the base, to then bring in needed information and knowledge from other disciplines.
So I think everyone's going to be quiet. So, and noting that we have here 11:30. I just wanted to wrap up obviously and say thank you to Simon and Teresa for sharing the program with us. As Teresa mentioned, the slides and the brochure will be sent out to everyone who registered for the webinar. We will also have the recording available, so if you do need to rewatch it, you can do that and obviously share with others. Contact details will be provided at the university, where you can have a conversation with them further. If you want them to come out and explain it to a larger group of people in your organisation, they're happy to do that as well. So thank you everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.